Vezelay is located in the Yonne Department of Bourgogne, just south of Tonnerre. The town has an AOC appellation producing Burgundy Vezelay wines from Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Melon de Bourgogne grapes. It is believed vineyards were first planted here by the Romans, and in the 9th century by the Benedictine monastery established by Charles the Bald. Its location high on a hilltop made it a perfect site for a settlement dating far back into antiquity. Shortly after the monastery was established, legend states a monk named Baudillon brought relics of Mary Magdalene to the abbey from St. Maximilla Saint-Baume. The basilica grew to be one of the most important towns on the pilgrimage route to Santiago de Compostela, which ends about 1,000 miles away on the northwest coast of Spain. Being at the start of one of the pilgrimage routes has always been an economic windfall for the village, and the town thrived for over 200 years until the relics were declared not to have been from Mary Magdalene. Conflicts over the autonomy of the city, coupled with the loss of pilgrims, sent Vezelay into centuries of decline and later would find it captured and turned into a Huguenot stronghold during the Wars of Religion. The town continued its decline until 1840, when the abbey's significance was recognized by the Minister of Historic Monuments and a 19-year restoration project was begun, restoring the church to its present state today. New relics of Mary Magdalene are given to the basilica in 1876, and Vezelay's place on the pilgrimage route of the Way of St. James is restored. Mary Magdalene was one of the most important religious figures to the people of medieval Europe. Her background of prostitution, followed by forgiveness through Christ, had great appeal to Christians of the time who were also seeking his forgiveness and acceptance. In an age without photographs, relics were one of the only ways for people to physically connect spiritually with the symbol of the divine. Pilgrims would pass a cloth to a monk to place on the relics, creating a new relic that could then be taken back to the pilgrim's home as a reminder of the pilgrimage and their dedication to Christ. The basilica is now a World Heritage Site and an architectural treasure whose construction began in 1104. It was built with the head of the church orientated in perfect alignment with the rising sun, a Christian tradition for churches of the time. The basilica was purposefully designed to be the main element of a great cosmic theater. The stone of the church is symbolic of the created world, and the sun's light represents the scriptural divinity of Christ as the way and the light. As the sun moves through the pass of its solstice, it creates seasonal light shows within the basilica, illuminating the church's connection to Christ. At sunrise on Easter, light enters through the great windows at the head of the church and sends a straight line of blinding light to the front doors, symbolizing the light of the resurrection. The next display is the feast of John the Baptist on the 24th of June, which coincides with the summer solstice. John's biblical mission as the elder cousin of Christ was to show the path to Christ, and that path is visible in the basilica on his feast day. At 2 p.m. on the solstice, the sun pierces through the top windows and creates 9 pools of light from the front door to the altar and crypt containing Mary's relics. It is symbolic of John the Baptist opening the way of Christ's promise, "I am the path, the truth, and the light." Following the summer solstice, the sun then begins its decline to the longest night of winter, symbolizing the birth of Christ, bringing an end to the darkness as the light of each day after grows. Just as John the Baptist stated, he must diminish so that Christ can grow, the light in the basilica decreases each day until Christmas, and then increases each day after until it reaches the longest day of the year and the cycle begins again. And on the day of the feast of the birth of Christ, the alignment of the south-facing windows allow the sun's light to fully enter the basilica, illuminating all of the sculptures on both the east and west sides of the nave throughout the day as the sun moves across the sky. This precise 12th century architectural design still boggles the mind as light and stone display these wonders to the thousands of tourists and pilgrims that still travel the route of Santiago de Compostela today. The hilltop village of Vezelay provides a fascinating look into a 12th century time capsule that is still alive and working in modern-day France. The city that began the sermons calling for all 3 of the Crusades is just a few hours' journey down the EU Interstate A6 from Paris, or you can take a TGV to Avalon and take advantage of the many ground transportation options that are available daily. The Yonne Department is the lesser-traveled region of Burgundy, and all of the sites shared with you in this episode are short day trips from one another. Every element of our trip to the Yonne contributed equally to this dream vacation. The wine, cuisine, and hospitality of these Burgundian communities provide the adventurous traveler with an authentic taste of La Culture du Vin.